Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday, January 18th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So we're going to get into Ben Hogan's 5 lessons, the third part of the swing. Over the last 3 weeks, we've started to master the grip. You know, it's probably been 2 weeks since you guys have started doing the grip, so it should be pretty natural for you now. Last week, we did the stance and posture. So, 30 minutes a day for 7 days, it should start to feel normal and natural. And with your fitness protocol, you should start to be able to feel the muscles being used and get a sense of more stability. Good morning, Natalie. What's up, Petro and David Castile? What's up, David? So, I'm going to address something to you because I was going to cover it in the program. But I'll touch base to it later where we're talking about starting the downswing before we finish the backswing. I'll get into that because there might be some overdoing of it. But today we're going to be working on the first part of the downswing. I'm sorry, the first part of the backswing. The first part of the swing, which is the backswing. If a golfer executes his backswing correctly, at the top of his backswing, his hips, his legs, his shoulders, arms, and hands, they should be, properly poised to have the power and coordination that goes into the swing. And since we've been training on the fitness aspect of it, this is going to help greatly. Hey, Steve, what's going on? I hope you caught some big fish down in Key West. But before we get into the training, I want to talk about, number one, expectation management. I just played with 2 PGA teachers up in Wisconsin area. And, they have golf simulators, they have the TrackMan with all the golf courses, and they just hit balls in the winter. And they didn't play very well. The PGA professional that I played with, I think he shot an 83. But his 2 playing partners, their expectation management, they were just expected to go out there and fire a 72 because, they're gifted. And they don't do any training on their body. They don't do any training on the short game. They don't do any training on the putting, not reading greens. And so just the expectation management for anybody that's up in the snow states or freezing and can't practice, when you get a chance to get out to play golf after training all winter long, just have some expectation, and be conscious and aware of, what to expect. And I'm going to go out and fire a 72. That's a great mindset to have. But if you haven't trained, so we're a little bit different because we're training, but they just come down, for a 7-day golf trip, and their expectation is I'm going to shoot par. And you just got to be cautious of your expectation because, five holes into the round, your emotions have just lost control of it. One other thing is mindset around putting. One of the guys in that group, I kept hearing him say, man, I hate putting, or I suck at putting. I suck at putting. Okay, well, if you say it, you do. And so just self-talk around, being critical of yourself. Words have meaning, and the more times you say it, the deeper it gets into your subconscious mind. And then I had a chance this week, they have the USA Kids Golf down here at the Copperhead. And I had a chance to play with Blades and Park Brown, and Mr. Brown would tell his son, don't decel. And I'm like, let's be cautious of the words we use because don't is very negative. So instead of saying don't decel, just make sure that always follow through, or energy goes through. Continue your follow through. So just be cautious of the words you say. And then he's like, man, that's a tough pin placement. I'm like, no, it's just a pin placement. Because when you make sure you have the right core strategy, if the pin is placed there, it's not tough or it's not easy. It's just there. And so if it's front over a bunker, well, then I'm just going to play 10, 15, 20 yards further. It's an easy pin placement because I'm playing intelligently. But getting back to David, last week you talked about the having a hard time with, when you get to about here, changing and shifting and starting your downswing. So I noticed some things that when I was doing this, and this happens to a lot of people, when we make a change, sometimes we overdo it. And so I was getting to the point where I was striking the ball really, really well when I would just shift my weight right over what I got here and just fire my hips and turn. And then I got to a point where it started to over-exaggerate to where I would get to here and I would shift my weight and get my whole center way too far forward. And that caused a lot of bad swings, mishits, not mishits, but it caused me to cut across the ball and it caused a more of a pronounced fade. So when you're making changes, you know, for example, this one here for me where I get here and I make my shift. So when I do this here, my weight is primarily 60% on my front foot now. That's a good position. But what I was doing, I was just getting here and I was, not only was I getting my weight there, but I was shifting my whole body this way, which was jacking up the sequence of my swing. So just be very cautious of when you're making changes not to overdo it. So right now we're going to get in the first part of the swing. And you guys might think this is basic stuff. Well, it is basic stuff. And yeah, I could have bought this book on my own and done training. Yeah, you could have. But after 25 years, 28 years of playing golf, every freaking year I redo this book. And it's just like if I was an accountant or a CPA or a stockbroker, you would have to do continuing education. If you're a nurse, a doctor, you have to do some type of continuing education. This is my continuing education from the greatest ball striker of all times. You know, there's several ways to grip a club. You got Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus, so you got the Barton grip. We spent the last 3 weeks working on our grip. My grip hasn't changed in 30 years, but I still want to make sure I'm aware that it is perfect. Second thing is the stance and posture. You know, when we have our body in a good stance and posture, proper balance on the toes, on the heels, in alignment, up and down. Glutes tied in, feet dug in the ground. Now I got my good stance and posture. And now we're going to start working on the takeaway. Hands, arms, shoulders, hips. Now for this week, I highly recommend do slow training. Slow training means hands, arms, hips. Slow means slow motion. So you're gonna, if this is regular motion, you're gonna train 30 minutes a day on the backswing, slow motion. You're gonna feel where the weight is on your feet when you get to here. You're gonna feel what muscles are being activated on the inside of the legs and the arms when you get to here. And when you get to hip height, when you get about here, your hips start to turn in. Slow motion training. There's a full backswing right there. I can go further. That's my full backswing. It's not up here. I don't have a very high shaft. My plane is a little bit lower, but it's grooved. So we're on page 64 of Ben Hogan's 5 Lessons. The fundamentals of golf, as he sees it, falls into 4 natural groupings. The grip, the stance and posture, the first part of the swing from the address to the top of the backswing, and 4 is the second part of the swing from the start of the downswing to the finish and follow through. So we're halfway there. We're on the first part of the swing. I want to emphasize this. If the body, legs, and arms are properly positioned and poised to begin with, last week our stance and posture, any golfer with physical equipment can learn to execute a proper movement for the backswing. So here in this position, my feet are digging in the ground, my lower body's not moving, and I'm just still working on stability and balance. Hogan talks about the waggle. We're going to cover quite a bit of the waggle because there's some key distinctions that I've noticed this year that's different. So let's go in here. During the waggle, he previews the shot. He's attempting to telegraph a mental picture of his brain. So I've got a line stick here. Let me get some visuals here. Cool. So got my grip, my stance and posture. So the waggle. So you're not moving your hand, you're not moving your shoulders. You're just arching your wrist this way. One of the distinctions I noticed is when I waggled, I would come really inside and bend this wrist and force this club to come in really inside. And that happens in my normal swing. And we talk about, this is one of the pitfalls where the club comes inside too quick. So when you become conscious just of the waggle and you do it in slow motion, now it forces it to come down the line here versus we bring it inside. So the waggle is a critical piece to where I'm looking at the club head and visually I can see the club head coming straight back where before it was coming straight inside. And if I look at my takeaway, it will come inside. So the waggle is a preview of the shot you're about to do. So if you take patience and slowness and watch the waggle of the club, I can see it coming on that line. And then that's exactly a preview of my backswing. So you're going to end up spending 10 minutes a day working on the waggle. You don't want to groove your waggle because it takes instinct to play it, whether you're using a 7-iron or a driver. The tempo and pace is going to be a little different than a pitching wedge or a 3-iron. But I want you guys to go through there the waggle because we're going to get right into the motions of the backswing. So the order of movements is the hands, arms, shoulders, and hips. So slow motion training, slow motion. So I got my stance, I got my posture, I've done my little waggle, and then it's hands, arms, shoulders. And as this one unit, and so you'll hear me talk about sometimes the hands, arms, and shoulders is a power package. It's a magical device. Power package, magical device. So we'll just call it the power package for this training. When we take the power package together, it's really just the hands, arms, and shoulders. And then it starts to pull in the hips. And then it starts to pull in my left knee. It's a perfect backswing. Now I've already got my weight on my front foot without shifting all the way over there. Hands, arms, shoulders, hips. Now if you do this for 30 minutes a day, slow motion training for the next week, it'll be such an ingrained process in your subconscious. Be aware where your left arm is going. We're going to talk about that in a second. Is your left arm going backwards like Kuchar? Is it going like Furyk or Justin Thomas? There's no right or wrong. It's just what your body's capable of doing right now and what you want to retrain it to look like. So when I keep my hands, arms, and shoulders together, notice how my club comes straight back here versus back here by breaking my wrist. So when I did my waggle, I would break my wrist, and I would bring my club right inside. And so with the new practice of my waggle that I've been practicing on, if I just waggle this way, the club face comes straight up the arc of the circle that I'm at address. And then the waggle, the backswing is just a full period of the waggle. So I can take my hands, arms, and shoulder, not bending the wrist, Just keep it all in one unit. Keep the power package in one unit. Not bend the wrist. Not cock the wrist. Not bend the right wrist. Just straight down that way. And down the camera line here. Here. And then lift my arm up. Just before your hands reach hip level, the shoulders, as they turn, automatically start pulling the hips around. As the hips begin to turn, they pull the left leg into the right. Once I get my hands to the shoulder height, there's really no need to keep going. The shoulders, you want to turn the shoulders as far around as they'll go. So, we worked on the A-frame stretch the other day, where you can take the shoulder this way. So if you're having a limited motion there, just do 30 of these a day, each side. That allows the shoulder, you can get back into the training and do the sweeping the dust, and we break each muscle group down together. Well, you want to take the shoulders around as far as they'll go. So if I keep my hands together like this, the shoulders can go 130 degrees without losing my balance in my hips. And so now I put a club in my hand, keep the power packets connected, the elbows tucked to the side, these point to the sky for training purposes. Now I have my power packets connected. Got a full shoulder turn. Lower bodies, the hips aren't way turning. My hips are just staying right there. And they're going to turn a little bit. So it looks like my hips turn about 45 degrees, shoulder about 100 degrees, and I'm loaded. I got a power package ready to go. It's going to take time to train these muscles, these new movements. When you finish your backswing, your chin should be hitting against the top of your left shoulder. Chin should be hitting the top of your left shoulder. Right there. Right underneath the chin. That's why we all did this neck drill. Can we turn? If you have issues with your neck, tight neck, you can simply squeeze your arms and hands and fists, squeeze, tighten everything up, and turn it, and hold it for 2 minutes, and relax it. Squeeze it, turn it, hold it. So you squeeze your upper body, everything here, and you just turn your neck, you start to get better range of motion in your neck. Turning the hips too soon is an error countless golfers make, and it's a serious error. So let's repeat that. Turning the hips too soon is an error countless golfers make, and it's a serious error. So as you begin the backswing, you must restrain your hips from turning back. How do I restrain? I dig my trail foot into the ground. I activate a squat down position. I fire up my inside muscles. I fire up my glute. And I get an oak tree stuck in the ground, and I don't allow my hips to move. So you can train, go do some barefoot training, get your feet in the ground. So here we are. You must restrain your hips from moving until the turning of the shoulder starts to pull the hip around. So I've got my stance, my feet are dug in the ground. Hands, arms, shoulders, hips. Hips are starting to move, and I'm restraining them from turning back. And I've got a lot of torsion here, which is perfect. I can still get a full backswing. And then when I start my downswing, there's more torsion. It's going to tighten up even further as I turn. And then all of a sudden it's hips, shoulders, arms, hands, fast. Lots of speed. A golfer wants to have this tension. He wants the midsection of the body to be tightened up. This live tension is the key to the whole downswing. The downswing is initiated by turning the hips back to the left. When you have this stored up tension in the muscles between the hips and the shoulders, you have something which begins the downswing. This tension will in fact automatically help you pull down into the ball. So here's all capital letters. It is this increased tension that unwinds the upper part of the body. It unwinds the shoulders, the arms, and the hands in that order. Exactly what I just did. Slow motion, hands, arms, shoulders, starting to pull the hips. I can feel my feet dug in the ground, locked and loaded. I get my weight to the front side, and it's just turning the hips. Turning the hips brings that elbow back to the side. My club's right on plane, right in the slot. Just matching my forearm here. Slot, boom. When the hips are turned back to the left, this tightens the muscles between the hips and the shoulders. So the legs, when the hips enter the swing, as they are turned, they will pull the left leg in. The left leg breaks into the right, and the left foot rolls into the right on the inside. So let me caution you against lifting the left heel too high off the ground on the backswing. If the heel stays on the ground, fine. If it comes up, fine. So, I think Jack Nicklaus, had a big heel up. But let your body do what it's going to do. Since I trained in this book in 1991, my heel stays on the ground, but I can still feel where the weight is on my feet. So let's talk about the feet, because it's not in this book what's going on with the feet. So when I start my backswing, I have the majority of the weight on the ball of my right foot, my trail foot, but closer to the center. So I have my feet dug in the ground. When I take my backswing nice and slow, I'm feeling the weight go down in the ground on the ball of my trail foot, on the inside ball. That's where the weight's going down. So the weight is down on that foot. And then on the backswing, when I get to the top of the swing, the majority of the weight is on the ball of my left foot, my front foot. And when I start the downswing, my weight is going to be driven to the ball of that left foot, and then by about here, in impact, it's going to rotate to the heel. So start to be aware of where the weight is in the slow motion training. Be aware of where the weight is going in your swing. So when you get to here, where's the weight in your back foot? When you get to here, where's the weight? So when I get to the back of the swing, the weight is moved more to the heel of my trail foot when I get to the top of the swing, but it's still on the inside portion of the foot. And when I start down, since my weight is on my front foot, the ball, I'm going to drive the weight to the ball, drive down. So then we go down, out, and then forward. So I'm going to drive the weight down the ball of the left foot, turn. Now I can feel where the weight is pushing off, from the trail leg, the weight is pushing off the ball of the right foot. It's rotating to the rear outside of the front foot, and it's pushing off of this trail foot. So just work on your footwork, what's going on in the swing, to where I'm aware of where the weight is throughout any portion of the swing with my feet. That's how we get ground forces. That's how we get stability. That's how we keep our dynamic balance throughout the swing, is the feet. The body and the legs move the feet. Let them move the feet. So as regards to the right leg, it should maintain the same position it had at address. And we talked about this last week. When you have a stable right leg, the right knee remains poised in a bit. It prevents the leg from sagging and swaying out. So this right leg, or for left-handed golfer, the left leg, but your trail leg. When I take my backswing, this trail leg, it's not shifting. So if you put a club straight up here, you see this gap there. It's slightly in, so there's a gap here between my leg and this club. It's staying there. It's a solid, stable base. I mean, I'm loaded up. And sometimes, like I said, we get sloppy or lazy or sloppy, and we allow that to just sway even a half an inch or an inch. That would be sloppy for me. But if I keep it stable right there, that's perfect. But I can get sloppy and just that little movement there. That little movement there. So you want to be aware of what this stable right leg is doing. Oh, there's some questions. What's up, Perry Bob? Let's see here. At what point do you get your weight onto your front foot? I know you said you were with a dramatic shift forward. So at what point do you get your weight onto your front foot? Well, for me, Bob, I've been getting my weight onto my right foot right when I get to about right here. And you're talking about the downswing because you're left-handed. At what point do you get your weight onto your front foot? Yeah, so this would be your right foot. So I'm starting with the weight of my front foot right now, and then from here, I'm actually just turning my hips. Whereas it takes a lot of daily practice of hitting ball after ball after ball to develop timing. So timing, since I don't hit a lot of balls, I have less practice time. My timing takes place by just shifting my weight here, and then it's just turning my hips. And right now, I'm weighing the ball right in the downswing here. The weight's on the ball of my front foot, so it's already there. But if we're looking at it this way, the moment you finish your backswing, and you can shift at the same time, you can shift and turn at the same time, that's when you want to start to get your weight to your front foot. The moment you start your downswing. So when I get to here, I'm going to drive. The moment that I get my weight on the front foot is on the downswing, but I'm going to direct my weight to the ball of my front foot. So since on the backswing, the weight is being driven into the ball of the trail foot, I'm digging the ball of my foot into the ground, like you have an extra spike on your cleat, driving the weight in the back foot, and then the moment that I either turn or I shift, I'm driving the weight into the ball of the front foot, and then momentum is going to carry that weight to the heel. So let me know if that answers your question. So at what point do you get your weight onto your front foot? It's going to take practice, experience. But for me, the weight gets on my front foot the moment that I get to here. The moment that I get to here, 9 o'clock, I'm already starting to get the weight to my front foot, the ball of my front foot. Now what I noticed when I didn't hit a lot of fairways this week is I was getting my weight to my front foot and I was shifting too much, got me out of balance, and it caused me to cut across the ball. When I do it in the slow motion practice, I can feel it better. Exactly. That's why we do slow motion practice in the backswing. Let me make sure that I have a... There actually seems to be a natural point near the top of my backswing where it feels normal to shift the weight. Yeah. Up and through the balls of the feet. Yeah. So you're going to find over the last 20 years, nobody really talks about the feet. I mean, the feet are the most important thing. I mean, think about it. When we did the fitness evaluation, I think there might have been 1 or 2 of you that could hold your balance with your eye closed like this for more than 5 seconds. Okay, so what you can do is when you're brushing your teeth, close your eyes and do this. When you're brushing your teeth, close your eyes and do this, and see if you can start training your brain, your proprioceptors, to get more balance. Because everything in golf is dynamic balance. When you're out of balance, you're not going to have efficiency. But when you can get in balance, when you get your trail leg stabilized, and you have good timings and tempo and rhythm, and you have good sequence, well, you can let the torsion built in between the upper and lower body, that tension with good rhythm to be the power force. You don't have to muscle through it all quick and shit. So slow motion training is critical for the next 3 weeks. You do this, hands, arms, shoulders, hips. You do this in the mirror for 5, 10, 15 minutes a day for the next 3 weeks. You're going to build an amazing motor control pattern and then continue working on your fitness in the downswing sequence, and you'll be able to be a masterful ball striker. But the right leg, I'm going to go back to the right leg and the feet. Because when I'm hitting the ball really, really well, it's because of the right leg being stable and being aware of where my feet are at any point throughout the swing, where the weight is on my feet at any point throughout the swing. And I'll post an image later today with an image of your feet of where the weight looks like in the swing. Hands, arms, shoulders, hips. Shoulders underneath my chin. I'm fully loaded up on my trail side. I got the weight of the ball on my left foot. I drive the weight down, a straight line down to the ball on my left foot. It goes from the ball to the heel rather quickly. Weight's on the outside of the left heel. And so if you fail the balance test, start working on balance. Weak ankles, where's your calves, your knees, your hips, your brain, just work on that. And then close your eyes. How long can you hold it? I think the average on the PGA Tour is 25 seconds. On the backswing, the plane serves the golfer as sort of a three-dimensional roadmap. His shoulders should rotate on this plane continuously inclined at the same angle with the ball they establish that address. So there's no right or wrong plane. I'm not going to teach position golf, and there's an infinite number of ways to swing a golf club. But when you can control the club shaft, you can control the club head, the club base, you can control the ball. Well, what do you think controls the plane? The shoulders. Why do we always do this in our trainings? So not only do we have sweeping the dust on the backswing, I'm a big advocate of sweeping the dust on the downswing. Sweeping the dust on the downswing. Because on the downswing, the plane, the shoulder, is going to be, if this white line is the target line, the plane, the shoulder, is going to drift out a little bit outside that line, across that line. So your shoulder and your left arm for right-hand golfers, shoulder and right arm for left-hand golfers is going to determine what your plane looks like. So let's look at what a flat shoulder plane looks like. Flat. My shoulders are flat. A steep one. So there's a variation from way up here to way around here. And you gotta find what's more efficient for you. Well, let's just look at what happens when I'm in a good posture. I've got stable balance, and I just rotate my shoulders. So all of us in the fitness evaluation did this drill. Can you disassociate your upper and lower body without moving your lower body? Okay? So now we're going to take and get a stable balance, and we're going to do this nice and slow motion training. Okay? Now I'm going to look down at the ball. And then from the side view here. I'm going to hold that position, drop the club down, and lift the arm. So, swing plane in the back. Just angle the shoulders here. Is it really steep? Is it really flat? Or is it just right? And it's going to be just right based on what your body's capable of doing and what you train. So hands, arms, shoulders, hips. That's my plane. That's my backswing plane. Do I change it? Sure, I change it. I look in the mirror all the time. Sometimes I'll see that it gets really flat. Sometimes I'll work on doing some practice like this, and then actually hitting a few balls, and look, I can still get it in the slot. So the plane, there's no right or wrong. If he executes the backswing properly, as his arms are approaching hip level, they should be parallel with the plane, and they should remain parallel with the plane, just beneath the glass until they reach the top of the backswing. At the top of the backswing, the left arm should be extended at the exact same angle to the ball as the glass. So Hogan talked about putting a pane of glass from here, from the ball to here, and at some point, you know, when your hands got to here, they should be right parallel with it. And then this arm just comes straight up like this. 30 minutes a day working on the backswing. So the easiest way to make sure that you're on a good plane is don't bend your wrists in this way, and just simply magic the right forearm. So for left-handed golfers, it's the magic of that forearm. How many times out of 1,000 times in my golf posture can I go like this and do that 1,000 times? So you want to get on plane? What is this right forearm doing? Without rotating or without bending anything, it's just what is this right forearm doing here? So if I get my right forearm to here, then I just lift the arm. So we have left arm elevation. What's the best way to look at this? Left arm elevation. So I have left arm straight across my chest. That'd be a flat plane. I have left arm way up here. That'd be a steep plane. Somewhere in the it becomes so easy. So if you just look at this left arm and the right forearm, and you put them together, so this left forearm for right-handed golfers, if I come straight across the chest, that's going to be super flat. If I lift it straight up, it's going to be very steep. So you see this angle here, angle that's flat, that's steep. We're somewhere in the middle. So look at this joint, what's it doing? And since I'm bent here, and I just take my left arm, it's somewhere in the middle. It might be a little bit flat, it could be a little bit steep. And so when you're slow motion training, practice what your left arm is doing for right-handed golfers. Hands, arms, shoulders, hips. Look in the mirror. Turn on your video camera on your laptop. Hands, arms, shoulders, hips. So let's see here. If you devote a half hour a day for a week to practicing the backswing, practice the waggle 10 minutes a day. And the second thing that he recommends is you practice his training and exercise designed to school a golfer to entrust his swing not in the hands, but in the arms and body. And so we talked about this last week about how you glue your inside muscles to your chest, and then we got this power package. So there's no hand, so this is handsy, and then this is no hands. So Hogan talked about taking a half backswing here and here, and practicing, for 30 minutes a day. No hands, the hands are just holding the club. So slow. Everything's connected to so the hips are moving everything, really. Where are we at? What questions? Who else has got some questions? Who else has some questions? Anybody? Bob, that's spot on though. I do it in slow motion practice and feel better. There actually seems to be a natural point near the top of my backswing where it feels normal to shift the weight. When do you push down on the left heel during the swing? I'm thinking very early, do it to hip bump. I don't push down on the heel consciously. Just like if I was swinging a baseball, I don't think about what's going on in the heel. I just know that that's where the weight's going to be ending up at. What I'm looking at is the weight on the balls of the feet on the backswing, and then driving the weight to the ball of the left foot, because this momentum from right here to here, trailing going at 100 miles an hour, it's going to force my weight to go to the heel of the left foot. Unless I'm on a balance and then I fall forward. But we talk about having your butt on the wall drill. So my weight is on the ball of my right foot right now. My butt's on the wall. My butt's still on the wall. I drive the weight to the ball of my left foot. My butt's still on the wall. Then it naturally is going to go there. But if it's not on the wall, my weight gets up here, it's eventually going to get to the heel of the foot, but you're going to be out of balance because you're early extended. So my weight is evenly on my feet. I can sense the weight on the ball of my right foot. My butt stays against the wall in the backswing. And then on downswing, I'm driving my weight to the ball of the left foot, butt still on the wall. I finish my rotation, butt still on the wall. It's moving to the middle of the front foot. It's probably right here on the rear foot, right there. So I'm not really worried about or thinking about when I transfer weight to the heel of the left foot. I'm driving weight down to the ball of the left foot for part of the transition. So on the backswing, it's back, up, and in. Back, up, and in. Well, then it's got to be down, out, and then forward. So we got back, up, and in. So I'm going back, I'm going up, and I'm going in. So then from once I'm here, back up and in, I've got to come down first. If I go in first, that's fucked up. That's over the top. So I go back, up, and in, down, out. I'm going to fire out. I'm going to fire everything out across this target line. And it's all being led with the shoulders. So the shoulder, if I take a backswing and I come too far in, well, I want to go back. And these shoulders are just kind of rocking up and down, up and down, up and down. So when I can go back up and in, and when I go down and I go out, so if this is second base, my target line is second base, and I visually think somewhere out between second base person and second base, just a little bit across this line out, I can come down and fire out and then forward, knowing that I'm swinging in a circle with angled clubs and different lofts. I know that physics is going to point the ball straight to the target line, even though I'm swinging out. That's how it's designed. That's whoever made up this crazy game. The geometry. Geometry of a circle and angles. Golf is nothing but geometry, circles and angles. Straight lines, circles and angles. That's all golf is. We're swinging on an inclined plane in a circle. We're swinging on an inclined plane in a circle. So just look at the shaft, the blur of the shaft of my club. It's swinging on an inclined plane, an inclined plane. So the shoulders, so if I'm swinging an inclined plane, so this is flat, this is steep, think about your shoulders being flat and steep, and then this is an inclined plane. You just want to swing your shoulders on an inclined plane. And when you can control the shaft, and you control the club face and the club head, you can control the ball. So that's a recap of the first part of the swing. Somebody have any questions? Anybody got questions? And then generally speaking, and this is a quote from Hogan, a teacher is no better than his pupil's ability to work and learn. So work and learn. You've got to put in the work and you've got to learn. So slow motion training is critical for this crossroads of golf. You know, there was a young businessman at Hogan's club, you know, and he had the ability to learn very good, and he was able to shoot. He was shooting 90s in April, and 5 months later, he was playing in the low 70s and won the club championship. And that's 1938. And so we've identified all the critical pieces that you need to do that in 12 weeks. And as you can see, kick-ass students like Bob Perry, who shot 100 and then 6 weeks later shot an 85. You got Robert Pickle, who was averaging 84, 85, and went out and fired 73, 72 in 8 weeks. It's all here for you guys. My door is open, my calendar is open. If you're stuck, reach out to me. When golf becomes easier, when you get fitness out of the way. And so continue doing the stuff. If you weren't on Thursday's training, you do that, just Thursday's training twice a week, and you'll be in tip-top shape. And obviously, there's more areas that you need to work on based on the individual limitations. Some of you can't touch your toes. Some of you have a hard time moving your shoulders. Some of you have a hard time with the torso rotation. Do the A stretches. But just to recap, Expectation management. A lot of you guys are, cabin fever right now, want to get out and play golf. Just have expectations to make sure that you're prepared mentally. And so if you're in the winter months, just start working in your mindset. Start visualizing, yourself hitting 14 fairways. Visualize yourself hitting 18 greens. Visualize yourself averaging 28 putts. Start to do this stuff. Start to trick your mind into believing the truth. And the subconscious, it cannot tell the difference between a lie or the truth, and the magic elixir is emotions and feelings. What does it feel like shooting birdie, birdie, birdie? That's pretty fun. So then let's talk about your mindset around putting. I'm the best putter in town, and I just saw this kid. He's like, "Oh, I hate putting. Oh, I suck at putting." Well, yeah, you do suck at putting, and you do hate putting because you keep telling yourself that. So we're on week 4. We're on week 3. So 30 minutes a day, working on your grip, 30 minutes a day, working on your stance and posture. That's been going on the last 3 weeks. Now we're diving into the first part of the swing. Slow motion training, just to recap. So I want to address the waggle. I didn't go over that much in the book because it's pretty minute details, but I want you to spend some time working on the waggle. And the waggle meaning it's just a preview of the shot that's about to come. You can concentrate so hard on what's going to happen, and then you can hit it perfectly before you hit it. But be cautious of not coming too far inside these wrists. As I slowly waggle back, you can see I'm still on the target line, and then when I'm ready to fire the swing, it's just right up there. Grab yourself a $6 beer at Walmart, use your camera on your laptop, use your camera on your smartphone, get in front of a mirror, and just slow motion, hands, arms, shoulder shifts. We want to just hands, arms, shoulder shifts in the knee. We want to feel the footwork, work on this. This is a critical piece right here, is having a stable base and good timings in the backswing. Any questions before I let you guys out? Let's see here. Random, where is ball position with finesse wedges? I keep hitting behind the ball. That's inside the training, David. Let me grab a wedge here. Ball position for finesse wedges is typically right in the center. Hey, what's up, cat? What's up, cat? Step up to the ball, center my stance. Open, stack and open, everything stack and open. I got 60% of my weight in my front foot. I got the laser drill. I'm set up here. So here, ball's right in the center of my stance, right? And then all I do is I move my club behind it. The reason you're hitting it fat is several reasons. One, what's starting the downswing? And where's your energy going? Where's your weight going? So if you go without a ball, so here I am. I'm going to make sure that I have my everything stacked on the front foot. I got my laser drill, so now I've got position up here. I move the club here. So the most likely way that you're hitting fat, and this goes back to something we just covered today, slow motion training. So if you're hitting fat, it's probably because you're getting a lot of risks involved, a lot of risks early. So what would happen if you were to just do some slow motion training, get in your stance and posture, get everything stacked on the front foot, laser beam, you can put the club here, good balance, you can wiggle your toes, you're perfectly balanced, and now keep the structure in slow motion training right to here. There's no wrist bend, slow motion training right here. Up the plain toe up. Now I still have this power package. Hands, arms, shoulders, shifts. The hands are just holding the club. I still have the power package, And even from the side view here, I still have the power package. I'm not cocking any wrists. So from the side view here, now when you do this, I'll show it down a little bit. Here, now my weight's on my front foot. Now it's just drop the club through. So now if you drop the club through with your arms back here, well, there's too much going on with your trail hand. So visually, let's see here, visually. So this is a straight line, this is the target line. This is the ball that I'm hitting, right here in the center, and this is the path that I'm coming through. So I'll move this ball away, that one. That's where I'm coming through visually. But this ball forward, this is low point in the swing. I'm hitting the ball, and the club's going to dig in the ground. So what's happening is your low point is hitting where this first ball was. So I'll do it from this side here. Got the ball that we're hitting. Okay, so you can see this here, right? So what's happening is instead of the low point here, where the club's supposed to dig into the ground, hit the ball first, what you're doing is you're actually digging the ground first back here. So the way that you can trick your brain to do this is pretend that you want to drive the club head through this ball and hit through that ball. So let me explain it this way. Let me find a little T. Here we go, it's a T. So David, this is the ball and this is the T. I want to hit that T, not the ball. The ball is going to get in the way of the club face hitting that T. So now from this view, as you can see that this is the target line, this T is outside the target line, because remember we're swinging on an inclined plane, down, out, and forward. I want to swing out, and so what I'm going to attempt to do is I'm going to hit the T. So remember, we got our weight, got the ball in the middle of my stance, or even in the slightly half ball in the back of my stance. I got my weight to the front foot. I got everything open and stacked. The T's up here. The ball's back here. I want to hit this T. So visually, pick an aim point, a piece of grass, 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and experiment with trying to hit that aim point. And the aim point on a clock on the ball, you're coming through. If this is 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 6 o'clock, I want to hit in between 3 and 6 at 4:30. Visually, I'm coming down this way, inside out, hitting there, but I want to hit the T that's way out here, 2 or 3 or 4 inches or even 1 inch. It's going to take experience and practice to determine and practice that a few times. And this is my target. The ball's going to get in the way. This is my target, this aim point. This aim point out here is my target. The ball's going to get in the way. So this is my aim point. I'm looking right there. Okay? So that's what you have to work on. It takes practice. When I feel hitting the ball with my right hip and right side, I have a better sequence of motion. Yeah. Well, Hogan wrote in the book, I wish I had 3 right hands, 3 right arms. That's part of the right side. So, you know, the right side is firing. The right side is firing because remember, we're putting all our ground forces in the ball of the right foot, and then in the heel, and then when the downswing starts, I'm still, if I was playing shortstop, I'm still going to push off from the right foot to get to the left. You're going to push off. That's how, that's how linebackers, they move from right to left. They're using their feet, the balls of their feet to push off, and their knees and their hips. Yeah, you're going to use ground forces. All right, guys, reach out to me. When you have questions, send me a message, get on my calendar. Let's rock this. And then a lot of you guys have been here for a bit. Go back through all the trainings. Rewatch some stuff. There's certain distinctions that you probably missed. Little aha moments. And for example, something I've done this book for 20 plus freaking years, I had an aha moment this week about the waggle. And that's that critical piece. For me, the waggle, where I used to just waggle real quickly and bend my wrist in. Well, just slow motion trying to figure some things out. When I have a different waggle, now I can visually see the club head, and then that's exactly what's going to take place in my backswing. So go through the trainings over and over and over. We're developing new motor patterns and become a scoring master. I'll see you guys on Thursday. David will be here on Monday. Take care. Play well.